Alright, all issues fixed, I believe. Everything should be working by now. I'm hoping it's working. I don't know why every single time something bad happens, but we should be fine. And it looks like all of the custom sponsor boards are gone. I'm so happy. It's not like I want to punch this fucking computer already, but that doesn't matter. I fucking knew that would happen. I didn't have any backups of the McLaren files, and I knew it was those. It never freaks out with sponsor boards, so that fucking sucks. Now I have to do every single track all over again every single fucking time, so you can imagine why I might be a little bit mad, because, you know, doing them all for 23 tracks is a little bit annoying. Anyway, so far, IHOPS has taken a provisional pole position with just over 2 minutes to go here, whilst Jack follows closely behind AQ Flow. As we follow, he seems to be in a bit of a rough situation here. It even erased all the V10 mods, which is really annoying because I had some new engine noises, but it doesn't matter. You really do love to see it, don't you? Anyway, so Jamie down in P6, just behind Mr. Speedy and Exotic there, who is on an outlap, hopefully looking to improve his current performance. And both Ferraris are on an outlap. However, they're not really close to each other. IHOPS has invalidated his outlap, probably to try and get across the line quicker. Subtitled, in the AlphaTauri. Let's see how he can drive soon enough. Orlando's probably one of the only ones. I believe he might be on a cooldown lap so far. Gabriel! With Zach, I believe, as well. I don't know what happened there, but that does not look good for the Haas driver. Ryan all the way down in 18th. Definitely not the run of form he really wants. He missed last week in Zandvoort, so technically it's been just about 2 weeks. And Zach has been disqualified from qualifying as Trixjans lies at P20 with KF1 all the way in the back there, who I have gotten confirmation that is KF1, by the way. So let's see. IHOPS is going to be the first of many to start his outlap here, or start his actual hot lap, and now coming around the final couple of corners there, out of what I believe is Vale onto the pit straight here. Yes, I am totally racist for not calling it the Hamilton Straights. Yeah, in Abbey, lovely stuff there, hitting the curbs just as one would want. It looks like he's driving all of the performance he'd actually want out of that Ferrari, coming in through this little hairpin and onto the Wellington Straight. Yep, I am totally not wrong in calling it that. So yeah, on the Wellington Straight there on the run down to Brooklyn's, DRS enabled and now DRS closed just as they come into braking. It looks like he's improved ever so slightly. That's a purple sector 1 bagged for the Ferrari. Can his teammate do any better? Looks now on the Wellington Straight himself. Welsh Jack then absolutely flying down it. I can't really see the speed there, but it doesn't really matter. It looks like he has taken purple sector 1, so it could be a Welsh Jack pole position once again. He has trouble converting, so that's what we're going to really want to see here. And now as IHOPS coming around in sector 2, right out of Beckett's, I believe. Yes, and this is actually Chapel. Turn 14, Chapel curve. It looks like he's lost a bit of time. Here's where Jack can really stand to gain a lot of ground. Just under a 10th gained in the first sector, so he really wants to get into that 10th territory in order to take pole position from IHOPS. It didn't look like the cleanest of S's there, however, it looks like that will be just enough to beat IHOPS if IHOPS does not improve. So crossing the line, that is an improvement, a 125.094, barely improved. Welsh Jack here has to do, sorry, not barely improved, that is decent improvement, I believe, if my memory serves me right. It was 2 seconds ago, it should serve me right. Anyway, here we go. Welsh Jack is at pole position. It is pole position, a 125.051, just about 500ths of a second. Yeah, 500, just about 500 of a second ahead of IHOPS here. Tom, or Exotic as we usually call him. 125, 425, 4/10 off the 2 Ferraris up there. I wonder if this is a telling sign for how the race will go. It looks like Fridge has put in a stonking lap for a P4 effort, and now Kantz bags that last P5 position. AQ Flow after DNFing was not able to defend it at all. So let's go. Let's do this. I can't wait to try and do this little grid thing that I always do, on the formation lap. I remember when we used to do full grids for the highlights, But it was a lot of effort that I just could not put in, so we unfortunately stopped doing that. And I do it now, but because this season isn't exclusively limited to my off time of, school and all that, it would be really hard to really keep it up in the latter half. So anyway, let's just keep on going. 9 seconds until we get into the next lobby, and hopefully we all enjoy this. It is not a sprint race, so definitely a first for Britain in CRF1 history. So let's hopefully pick up from where we last left off and get to a pretty exciting race. I really hope that missing out on qualifying didn't deter the rest of you. Because, this should be a very fun race. Should be a very, very fun race. Right then, let's just keep our heads up. Something hopefully won't go wrong, and if it does, I'm gonna kill myself. But yeah, nothing should go wrong today. Looks like a decently cloudy sky up here in Silverstone, and IRL, from where I am, it's telling me about a closed road. Usually it tells me about the temperature. So whenever it switches to that, I'll get on the tangent of temperatures. But I haven't actually done this in a minute, so let's check up on the standings. It looks like McLaren have taken a very, very nice little lead, and by very nice little lead, I mean Ron Beeford carried them, and CRF1 and Nora Rexley have really done anything. It's spectator mode as we want to be. Can see Jamie with 27 points. He has gotten all of Mercedes points. And Kantz in P2 with 20 points. It is a 7-point deficit. May I remind you of the new point system we have adapted. Let's see if I can remember it. I definitely can't. Let's just go to reference. Go to the little reference material that we have onto our side here. A couple of screens to pick out. Announcements. Right then, first place gets 18 points, while P2 gets 14 points. P3 gets 12, and P4 gets 10. P5 gets 9, 6 gets 8, 7 gets 6. It's a little confusing, isn't it? 8 gets 4, P9 gets 2 points, and obviously P10 gets a 1 point, with 1 awarded for fastest lap in the top 10. And it would be fun to award some for pole position, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Pole's about converting, even though it is a bit of a feat. I'm really mad. I'm honestly really fucking mad that we don't have any of the custom sponsor boards anymore. That means every single track that I actually worked pretty hard on for 4 days. Because it's not that I really work hard on it. It's just a hugely tedious process, an extremely tedious process to get every single track done. So, I mean, it's just pretty disheartening, but... Fuck. Yeah. Dying. Anyway. Right then, as we come across the final couple of corners, you can see IHOPS is pretty excited to get into his grid position. All the way at the back there, Zach 95 for obvious reasons, brake checking Gabriel. Both Alfa Romeo teammates. Oh yeah, I didn't do the thing. So... let's do it really quick. It's Jack from Hops, from Tom, from Fridge, from Kantz, from Flo, from Dom, from Speedy, from Jamie, from Orlando, from Rexy, from Inertia, from Subby to Eastgrove to Ryan to Gabriel to fucking hell, to Dweezy, to KF1, to Trixjans, and to Zach finally. Now, what should be Zydax PCs up there, it's now Ramco, which is unfortunate. We know I'm in spectator mode, so let's just wait. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights, and we are off and away here in Great Britain. And you can see that Alpine's actually gotten a pretty good start from the back there. I don't think they're going to be jumping any positions, and the top 4 are not shuffling around, very contrary to the back there, and it is a huge mess. You can see Orlando going off into the barriers, almost hitting the Qatar Qatar Airways logo, and Trix Jans and Gabriel have gotten involved in something. Ryan's picked up a few positions in Dweezy. These two are fighting it out. Owner and Tier 1 manager. You can see Ryan absolutely trying to clobber into P13, but Inertia has, I would say defended successfully, but I mean the corner kind of defended for him. P17, P19, and then probably past Boy Orlando very, very soon. East Grove has gotten killed, and it looks like Ryan's contending for P12 with Mr. Speedy. The top 4, top 5 even still remains pretty unchanged. As you can see, Kantz does get ahead of Fridge there. That's pretty cool, but look at this, Ryan just, yeah. Red Bull in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich. Jamie off to one of the best starts of his career, obviously, right? Subtitle into the top 10 as he's trying to chase down Inertia. It looks like Jamie's going to give him hell, though, side by side through Maggots and Beckett's, and the Mercedes makes it work somehow. And that is definitely Mercedes victory for now. Subtitle going side by side with the owner there, Ryan, and it looks like it's ended decently well. Dweezy has to play spectator to this battle. His Subtitle does get a little bit of a drag from the hole Mr. Speedy's trying to punch in. Ryan does make a little bit of contact, and it looks like Subtitle is through for now, though you can see the Mercedes again is going to give him a little bit more hell. And there we go. I wouldn't call this the cleanest battle. I mean, definitely not. I don't know why the audio is killing itself. I'm going to turn it down in a minute, but look at this. Mr. Speedy now into P12, hunting down Inertia, or Bryce. He's going by Bryce now. Maybe we should start calling him by his real name. Everyone's usually called by their real name except for Subtitled. I'd reveal it on stream, but you can tell you if he wants. Mr. Speedy then, up in P11, everyone else defending their, point scoring positions, and AQ, yeah, I'm going to turn down the game audio. Where is it? Here it is. Master volume 4. That we can still have the engines a little bit, but I mean, they're not going to be as cooked as usual. Ferrari Rexy into the top 10 as KF1 very much struggling to get out of, the bottom 5. Both Ferraris lead pretty untouched there. The closest car is Exotic with 1.4 seconds of a gap between himself and P2. You can see Kantz in P4 there is under fire from Fridge and will be under fire for a pretty decent amount of time should he be able to put up a fight. AQ Flow trying to recover from P6, initially P3 until he killed himself. And now Dom there, former teammates, former Red Bull teammate now on the tail of AQ Flow. That Alpine is definitely looking to score some really good points today. And it looks like that's Dweezy. That's probably Dweezy off. That's Ryan off. That's Subby off. What happened here? Orlando does move in to P15. Very good for him, but I imagine he lost an end plate. Let me just try and get this, because he's going very slowly, and not only that, they seem to be pretty wonky through the corners. You can see Rexy is fighting AQ Flow, and he does get ahead of the Red Bull there, leaving himself very, very vulnerable to former title rivals. AQ Flow and Jamie there. So let's see. Jamie, DRS wide open. AQ Flow can say the same, but it looks like the drag is not going to be enough. Or it looks like the slipstream really did help out Jamie there, who goes down the inside of Brooklands and does take it by, fuck, I forgot the next corner. I'm going to kill myself, by Luffield. How could I forget that, honestly? Anyway, teammates invert as Mr. Speedy goes through on AQ Flow. It looks like these two are going to go side by side all the way down into cops, or they would have if they knew it was good for them. They didn't know it was good for them, rather. I suppose that fate has been avoided. However, Bryce goes down for a move on his boyfriend there, AQ Flow. Lovely stuff to see. The Williams driver in a bit of a Red Bull sandwich there, climbing up the order. You love to see it there. And you can see Kantz. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. I suppose we forgot to cover that. Now, all the way down at P10, he is making some ground on AQ Flow with DRS. That slipstream is helping out on the Williams as well. So, Kantz is gaining some decent ground, and it looks like AQ Flow is falling behind. That is a broken end plate. That's most likely why. A lot of people were able to get some good points, get some good stuff on him. And now all the way down into P14. British Grand Prix off to a pretty eventful start. Definitely not the start a lot of us were expecting. Some winners, some losers. Mostly me, because my stream killed itself. And yeah, subtitled into P14, AQ Flow all the way down into P8. P18, former teammates pass each other, and even KF1 gets past the Northern Irishman. And now all the way back in the back of the grid, it's definitely recovery drive for AQ Flow there. Let's see what he can do. FRI Rexy, you're running in a stunning P5. You love to see it, don't you? And you can see he's trying to get the jump on Dom here. Slowly trying to make some ground through Sector 2, which is definitely pretty tough, I will say. Actually, you know what? No, it's probably one of the easier places. So long as the guy in front of you has a severely worse line or, severely worse technique. And it looks like Rexy has absolutely gotten some really good launch through cops there. So on the back of Dom, what's he going to do? See, I'd go to broadcast camera, but it doesn't even let me. So yeah, on the back of Dom, what's he going to do here? McLaren, orange-clad McLaren, what's he going to do? DRS is open, and yeah, it's pretty fairly straightforward overtake. Trying to do it around the outside. Rexy, can Dom defend? And he has defended. That's probably one of my more weaker commentaries because I was just kind of at a loss of words for some reason. If I apologize for that. Anyway, hopefully I can do this battle a little bit more justice, like the band. Going forward, and you can see Dweezy then again involved in whatever happened here. Not entirely sure what's wrong with him. However, it looks like it's good for the people behind him. A yellow flag in Sector 3. Oh, yeah, that's still Dweezy there. And you can see Dom is really struggling. So on the Wellington Straight, you can see the Dark Trace is going to fly up into the sky. And that is a very straightforward overtake for FRA Rexy down the inside and ahead by Brooklands. So, again, the Ferraris lead very, very unchallenged. Exotic definitely falling off a little bit there, and it looks like everyone else is just way too... Anyone that can challenge seems to be pretty far back, so pit stops are going to be very, very important, and a lot of people are probably realizing that, especially for the Mercedes. You can see now in P6, Jamie holding on... let's see, I forgot. How many points does he get? How many points does he get if he, stays there? Oh, okay, so KF1 isn't actually in the game. His servers died. Anyway, so yeah, in P6 you will get 8 points, which will mean it's like, 35 points. So Welsh Jack is definitely down the order as well as Hops. But this might be decent for the CC. A combined total of, I don't know math, I'm sorry guys. Just ask Ryan or something, I don't know. He's too busy being at the back of the grid, he can do some math. Anyway, yeah, Mercedes on Alpine, Merc versus Renault engine. Let's see what can be done by the Mercedes driver to get past Dom, who is notably, is a pretty decent fighter, I would say. Being in Red Bull does not give you... Being in Red Bull obviously gives you a bit of a fighting personality, doesn't it? So yes. Oh, he sold him a dummy. Sold him a bit of a dummy, but it doesn't look like the speed was there for Jamie to actually make any real sort of move. So Dom stays ahead for now. And with a penalty, it doesn't look like... What is with my audio, man? Listen to this. It's like you just cheese grated the cars, man. Anyway, it looks like Hops is very much catching up to Welsh Jack, so maybe Exotic isn't falling off as much as Hops is absolutely pushing his teammate to the brink there. DRS wide open for the Ferrari man, and it looks like it's an overtake down the inside of Stowe here, and ahead by the corner entry. Hops is your new race leader. Can Jack say anything about it? I'm not entirely sure. And let's just see what's going further on down in the back here. Jamie still getting very, very close to Dom, and it's not looking like anything's going to happen here. I wouldn't imagine. You can see Trix Jans has lost. I imagine he picked up a little bit of an incident there going down the inside of Fridge. Fridge kind of has to relent, doesn't he? And that is wonderful-ish defending. He pushed it to the limit. And that is two cars who could not race each other. Constant inertia. Very lucky to not okay, they did get past, but they're decently lucky to not get passed by Subtitle, to have so much clear air behind them so they could make an mistake and then not die. Anyway, Zach is absolutely pushing Trix Jans. Trix Jans absolutely giving everything he gave back, which is what I like to see every now and then. If you give it to them, they're going to give it back to you. I imagine there will be complaints, and in the eyes of the stewards, two wrongs do not make a right, so we'll see how that all plays out. Mr. Speedy in P7 now on board with him, playing a bit of a spectatorless four-car battle for P4. Rexy leads the way with 0.3 of a second behind him, and 0.3 of a second, yes. 3/10 of a second separating the two. McLaren, Alpine, Mercedes, and Honda. These are all, okay, I would have said these are all different engines if there was a Ferrari engine involved in this. However, obviously McLaren has Honda engines, and even if they didn't, they would have had Renault engines before, and it looks like Welsh Jack and IHOPS have switched once again, so this could be very much a very nice battle for the lead here, and I'm excited to see whether or not it'll open up the door for Exotic or Dom or even all these guys to get in on the action. You can see Jamie there having to back off of a move from Rexy after, it obviously was not going to work. Mr. Speedy seems to be getting a little bit impatient here, and now this should be getting pretty heated up. Hopefully, maybe some rainfall will happen, and look at down the inside of Abby. You can see the Mercedes going through on the McLaren, and the McLaren getting being left very, very vulnerable for the Red Bull to just swing on down the inside, and that is some lovely, lovely racing. Unfortunately, Rexy coming out with the short end of the stick there as Fridge defends Trixjans and Zach. Very hot on his tail, and DRS should not help. 4.5 seconds up the road will be Rexy, and obviously, yeah, like I said, DRS does nothing. Aramco swings towards the sky, and look at this. Fridge is nothing but a victim to Trixjans. However, could he make himself a bit of a fighter here? Could he fight back? Who knows? Who knows? Up at the front, still both of the Ferraris are just absolutely kind of going at it. Very, very close to each other. Hops now back in P2, Jack back in the lead. You really got to wonder, how much are they going to play the team game, and could this possibly result in their downfall? I'm very much hoping not, for obvious reasons, but look at this. Jack goes to the outside to defend, and it is Hops' line to take. A DRS wide open, and that is Hops' corner. Once again, by the entry, Hops is ahead of Welsh Jack, but Welsh Jack is a lot closer than you would think. I don't think he's going to go down for a move on the inside, but this leaves him very, very poised to do some very nice racing up in the Wellington Straight there. As long as they stay together, you can see Jamie up in a P4, just out of the podium positions, 2.2 seconds away from Exotic, and with Exotic's penalty, it could be very safe to say that the Mercedes man will be taking P3 today should things stay the same, and that is Dom going through on Jamie, and Jamie losing P6. Or P5, sorry, all the way back down into P6. Wasn't entirely sure what happened. Maybe a little bit of oversteer, maybe a little bit of a correction, maybe he was tapped by Dom. Whatever the reason is, Jamie's surely livid. And now it looks like I was wrong. Nothing did change on the Wellington Straight, so that leaves just the Hangar Straight with immensely powerful DRS. Mr. Speedy goes through on Dom there for P4, and it looks like it has worked out. Oh dear! The Alpine has hit the Red Bull, and the Red Bull, of course, being sent into a very miniature spin. You're lucky Mr. Speedy caught that one, and now the racing is going to get a lot harder from here on out. Jamie takes the lead of this little battle, P4 for himself. Rexy plays as spectator and trying to pick up the pieces, and it looks like Mr. Speedy's gotten a pretty decent-ish run on Jamie. Rexy does have to cut the corner a little bit, or by cut, I mean run it very, very wide. Whilst Jack and IHOPS once again, Jack ahead of the corner, ahead into the corner, and that again is the race lead. These two just absolutely scrapping it out for the race lead here as Mr. Speedy coming into P4, and look at this. It is just constant switch back and forth. This is the race you want to join back on, and it looks like Jamie has gotten it a little bit wrong there, going out of the corner at Stowe. So let's see how this can further heat up. Could Rexy get back involved? He looks like he's picked the pieces back up a little bit. He's ever so slightly closer, but Jamie is definitely on the tail of Dom here, who is just kind of floundering compared to Mr. Speedy. Mr. Speedy is building up a little bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second between himself and Dom, and that is definitely going to make or break Jamie's race in terms of, actually being able to catch up. Hops is 0.5 away from Jack there, and Tom has lost 8 seconds. Anyway, let's see. Jamie has not been able to go down the inside of Dom. Not entirely sure how he managed that, but could he be going for an outside overtake through Luffield, trying to get his car up there, but it has not worked. And it looks like Jamie's going to have to be a little bit more patient and hopefully get the overtake hopefully get the overtake in another part of the track. Those no side pod Mercedes. Dom has now another time penalty, I believe. Let's see. Penalties, no. Penalties, yep, 6 seconds worth of penalties, so obviously we don't know how hard Jamie wants to fight this, but 7/10 of a second between himself and Speedy, and it's technically quote-unquote a second, you know, if you really believe in that. A second between himself and P4. I don't think he wants to be stuck behind the Alpine any longer, just like Trixjans might find himself in the same dilemma. Now, P8-4. Fridge there, lovely stuff as by the way. Trixjans into P9, you can see there Kant is just outside of the top 10. The nearest top 10 battle is about 4 seconds ahead of him and Zach, so provided he doesn't make any mistakes, we'll be scoring some decent-ish points. Gabriel now kind of proving he belongs in the grid, not really. Back in the running for P11 with Kant. So let's check in on today's biggest winner and biggest loser. Positions gained. Right, so our biggest loser, obviously, AQ Flow, who went in for an early pit stop. Ryan rage quitting after like lap 4. You can see, so he's lost quite a few positions. So yeah, Dweezy in P17. Oh, look, his number's 17. Teehee. Anyway, Dweezy in P17. You can see here, Gabriel. Lovely work of the, of the AlphaTauri. Let's go back to this little fight here. Hops and Jack still aren't as close as they once were, and Jamie 0.4 seconds behind Dom. Dom is slightly getting closer to Mr. Speedy as Tom is still getting absolutely dropped by the Ferraris. Let's see what the Discord is saying. You will be midfield minimum. Anyway. Let's see how this works out. And you can see there, I almost missed it. Dom for an inside overtake on Mr. Speedy, and it doesn't look like it worked out. Definitely getting way too deep on the brakes there. And I wonder how this is going to open up the opportunities for everyone else behind to catch up. But yeah, our biggest winner will be tied between Zach and Trixjans. If Zach makes up another position, obviously, he will be our biggest winner. And look at that from a 20th on the grid. Trixjans dives in the pits. Okay, so technically Zach's our biggest winner for today, but that is very much subject to change. Zach, other than AQ Flow, probably one of the first. Trixjans, other than AQ Flow, probably one of the first to stop, I believe. Yep, Trixjans one of the first to stop, along with East Groove. Those two are definitely setting history. How early they're making their stops. Anyway, Dom and Jamie, still a battle for the ages here. Speedy leads once again with a 0.6 deficit from himself and Dom. Of course, P4, not the actual race. IHops and Jack, though, they're getting fairly close. So, let's see this, because it's highly unlikely an overtake's going to happen down there. So, 0.4 of a second between them. I'm running out of breath, Jesus. 0.4 of a second between himself and Jack. Hops DRS wing wide open, and you can see there, I don't think it's going to be enough. Sparks flying, but like I said, not going to be enough for the Ferrari to make the overtake on its teammates. So, back down the order, you can see there the battle of the upper midfield. And Jamie is, oh, you can see he did make the oh yeah, never mind. Jack goes into the pits trying to do a little bit of an undercut, I imagine. We'll see how that works out. We will see how that works out. You can see Kant on Gabriel for the final point scoring position. And Jamie, yeah. So now as the first round of pit stops kick in, lots more people are diving into the pits, and it looks like we'll see some decent competition. Hops still pulls a pretty decent lead, 11 seconds over Tom there. And now Welsh Jack in the pits now. Coming up I don't know, P8, P9? Yeah, P9. I don't think he'll be passed by inertia. Yeah, he's already out. So yeah, P9 did not get passed by the Williams of inertia. Duracell looking ass car. You'd love to see it. Yeah, but Jamie and Mr. Speedy now. This is the battle that was very much on at Imola. This is the battle that Mr. Speedy won, or would have won, so long as he didn't, kill 4 people, but that's besides the points. It looks like rain probably won't come. It would have come by now unless it comes at the very, very later stages of the race. So, let's check up on the Twitch chat. Let's see how you guys are doing up there. I am absolutely dying right now because I feel like congested shit. But, who knows? Maybe you guys feel a lot better. CRF1 is Brittany, dumbass Lamau. Anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys feel a lot better than I do today. You can see Jamie trying to make that overtake on Mr. Speedy. Mr. Speedy in the podium positions, diving into the pits. Then goes, Jamie stays out. It's a curious decision. Hops has gone in, so he will be, other than Tom, or Exotic, sorry, the de facto race leader, should Exotic pit within the next couple of minutes. And even then, with penalties, I believe, yeah, Jamie is the de facto race leader for now. Everyone else, you can see there, has made a stop. And in P4, IHOPS will emerge just behind his teammate. Pretty unfortunate if that was... Oh, just side by side. Look at this. The gap is nothing between the two. Both perfectly executed pit stops, however, it did not go well for IHOPS. And you can see there, Trixjans scoring the fastest lap on the hard tire. It looks like it's going good for the hard tire. I'm not entirely sure. I do wish I had another person who could be able to take over every now and then, because I can feel, you know, I can't breathe. I can breathe, but I mean, you know, I'm fucking a little bit of air, you know. Anyway, I feel like I can't breathe as well. That's probably a better way of saying it. So yeah, you can see both Ferraris in P4 and P5 for now, and Trixjan's about 6/10 behind Mr. Speedy. Could Mr. Speedy actually put up a fight between himself and the Aston Martin? And by that, I mean, could he do it entertainingly? Could he make it entertaining? Aki flow back into the top 10 after being all the way at the bottom. I do think the, obviously, you know, the overcut has worked quite well, and Jamie has gotten a 5-second time penalty that will be removed by the stewards, specifically Jack, very after the race. So, I'm kidding. Right, so Jamie with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We'll see if it does get removed. Who knows, who knows, whilst Jack and Hops are back in the lead of the race. And it looks like Jamie and Exotic are right on each other's tail. And did Exotic come in for a second stop, or what? I don't know. But it looks like Exotic has done this pretty well. So long as, you know, maybe you can get some penalties removed. I don't know. There's always the possibility, right? Dom perfectly executed the undercut, and he is in P3 leading this little charge. Mr. Speedy and Tom, Trixjans, and Jamie getting the short end of the stick. Definitely getting the short end of the stick. Look at this. So, you can see there, Jamie passing Trixjans relatively easily in a bit of an Aston Martin sandwich now. His eyes sets on Exotic, who is a champion, I believe, in his own league, finally, right? Yes, so Thweezy with the 128.5 for Alfa Romeo. You can see he got the fastest lap of the race. Lovely stuff to see. So far, I mean, everyone's decent-ishly close to each other. Obviously, Hops and Jack executed the perfect pit stop, and they're very close to each other. I think that's probably the best way to do it if you are going to do it. You know what I mean? Well, let's pit perfectly and get right next to each other. That way, the commentator has something to talk about. Anyway, Dom with another set of penalties. That's 9 seconds of penalties, and that will be horribly damaging. horribly damaging to anyway. I think Ryan's giving up his seat. That's super silly. Anyway, let's do this. So, what was I on about? I don't know. Guys, please fight. I want to see something happen. Anyway, on the Wellington straight, you can see there Hops with his rear wing up. And look at this. It's an overtake down the inside of Brooklyn's there. Is he ahead? Can he keep it ahead? And Jack gets a very good run. Hops moves ever so slightly wider to kind of cover that off. Ever so slightly. I do mean ever so slightly. But it's worked very well in Hops' favor. Jack kind of gets the run down the old pit straight, and they're going to be side by side maybe through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, would you like to see that? They have the leeway to do it, just don't kill each other. I'm begging, side by side, almost. Jack knows what's good for him, and Hops keeps the lead for now. However, Jack most likely will be getting that lead back from DRS, so rear wing wide open out of Chapel Curve and onto the hangar straight. Hops keeps the outside line. Jack takes that inside line, and they are side by side for a good little bit there. Looks like the two have stopped fighting for now. Nope, they have not. Jack has to leave him room for the outside. It was almost likely that Hops would be taking it, but very good fighting between the two Ferraris there. Really good fighting. Anyway, Mr. Speedy and the Alpine there up above. Oh my god, I just don't want to be on board with these chumps. Not because they're actually shit, but because the fucking engine sound is just fucking horrible, man. I need to get that fixed. Anyway, Exotics, it's the fastest lap for today with a 28.455, and Fridge soon follows thereafter. Short-lived fastest lap. And it doesn't look like Fridge. Oh yeah, Fridge will be bagging an extra point if he does keep it. So let's see, what can he do? Exotic getting a little bit squirrely out of the. I forgot what. Let me get that straight away. Out of Aintree. Oh yeah, it was Aintree. I forgot that's what it was called. And look at this, side by side, the Alpine and the Red Bull. Former engine supplier for Red Bull. Renault versus Honda. It looks like Renault's won out on this occasion. I do like referring to Alpine as, Renault every now and then, because I love the Renault name. And the Alpine name is slightly shit, so no one can deny their first livery as being one of the greatest in Formula One. And I will die on that hill, but their name's kind of shit, and I like Renault far better. So let's just see how this works out. You can see the lead changes once again, whilst Jack in front of IHOPS. 9 laps to go. This could be going all the way to the end of the race. And you really got to hope these two do it for the duration of the race, without killing each other. Dom and Speedy side by side. A little bit of late braking on Dom's end. Can he keep it? Can he keep it into Stowe? And it looks like Speedy has gotten the jump on Dom there. And you were almost wondering if he was going to go down the inside of the Red Bull, but it looks like he has not. So, judgment serves him right there, and P3 for Mr. Speedy in the Red Bull there. And it looks like McLaren will most likely be losing that constructor's lead. That quote-unquote lead. I say lead, you know why? Because they're tied with Mercedes. Get me back in the game. What's going on? All right, there we go. Yeah, like I say lead. Say lead. I'm going through puberty, guys. Sorry. I say lead because, they're still tied with Mercedes. But yeah. Anyway, you can see Jamie on. Oh, look at this. Exotic down the inside of Dom. I almost didn't catch that. And you just can't take your eyes off of these few groups of people here. Ferrari's absolutely giving us a lovely show. And then, everyone in the back of them is just giving us a supreme show. It's just lovely stuff all around. Jamie's still in P6. I believe this is where he was running for a little bit of the Dutch Grand Prix. I don't know. P6 rings a bell here, and Hobbs dives into the lead. Hobbs dives into the lead of the race. Once again, it's Stowe. Stowe seems to be a pretty popular overtaking opportunity here, as Exotic has backed off the throttle there. Doesn't seem like he's going to be overtaking. We've still yet to see a safety car in this race. Ryan being our only retirement, which is honestly a little bit surprising given the standard of the Tier 2 race. And it looks like Dom bit off a slight more amount than he can chew, getting pushed off a little both times he's tried to fight with Jamie. Still side by side almost side by side into Abby. And now it looks like Jamie's firmly behind, but it most likely will go for a really good overtake. Yellow flags into Sector 3. That was probably a Red Bull, I believe. Might be AQ Flow who's going into the pits. I'm not entirely sure. I just saw AQ Flow there. Maybe it was Orlando. Maybe it was Louisa. Who knows? Jamie into P5. And all these people kind of clumped together do have penalties. Mr. Speedy, though, has no penalties. And down the inside goes Tom. Let's hope Mr. Speedy can get through this one and capitalize on everybody else's penalties, but still trying to keep his nose on the inside. Tom can't turn in. And it looks like it's all ended well for the Aston Martin so far. 14 seconds behind the Ferraris there. Absolutely dropped them, which is just super funny to me. Anyway, just about a tenth of a second between himself and Speedy. And look at this. Oh, could they be going side by side? See, it would have been fun to watch, but I think these two do very much know that they'd probably kill each other if they did try and go side by side. So, Jamie then still has to play the game of catch-up between these two. Mr. Speedy with DRS wide open, and of course, Exotic sticks on the outside line. Down the inside goes Mr. Speedy through Stowe, and that's what you want to see. A very, not cleanly, oh, Mr. Speedy. Oh, that's not very good. Perhaps it was his fault. I can't imagine it is. I'm sure Exotic will be receiving some disqualifications from that as Jamie hunts him down. Yeah. Surely Speedy is going to have some harsh words for Exotic, and that what a horrible way for that to end. 6 laps to go. You almost didn't know how fast this has been flying by. This is a bit of a blur of a race. I just want to see a lot more of it. You almost just want to sit here for ages and ages, and I honestly can't really know. I mean, I don't want to do the math right now, because they're switching every now and then, and I don't want to count that far. So, it's going to be really exciting to see how this works. Get me in comms right now. Ryan, I'm not going to open Discord. I'm sorry. I don't want to glitch out the race. We're almost through. We are almost through without major problems. I don't want to chance it. Next time. Anyway, going on here, you can see Welsh Jack and Hops, their DRS open. You can see Hops takes a very defensive line around the inside, a very powerful position to take into Stowe, and it does not work for the... He's also Northern Irish. Hops. He's also Northern Irish, I believe. Welsh Jack is obviously Welsh. Jamie's a Scotsman, if I'm not mistaken. A Japanese Briton, I believe, Exotic is. You can see there going on the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact between themselves, and that almost ended very badly. You can see the Mercedes and Aston Martin side by side. The Aston Martin winning out so far. Does he go through here? He does not. Did not have the speed to do so, and I'm surprised Dom did not try and get involved on this. You can see there, Jamie's desperately trying to get past Exotic, but, there's no clear opportunity. But it'll present himself. Just give it a little bit of time. Both Alpines right next to each other. Very, very good for the CC. They'll be scoring some decent points. They'll be scoring some decent points. But yes, up here at the front, 5 laps remaining for the Ferraris there. Still just absolutely next to each other, just eating each other's asses out. Very, very close. It's crazy. So yeah, not much fighting behind, or not much fighting at the bottom of the pack. You can see there the ghost of KF1. His servers were killing themselves, so Inertia is fighting those, obviously. Orlando, who we haven't actually seen, I don't think, in a little minute. I haven't seen... Oh, Gabriel, getting a little bit squirrely out of Brooklands there, and it didn't end badly for him. So thankfully, Welsh Jack still leads from iHops. So I mean, if these two keep switching around, Hops leads on 22. So that could mean Hops will win the race. I'm not entirely sure. If they keep switching around, this lap this and this lap that, If they switch around like that, then Hops will most likely win. So it's very important that Hops gets as close to Jack as possible on lap 25 and just sticks with him until lap 26. Because obviously, if you're ahead by Stowe, you can't do anything. On the final lap, you can't do anything, especially as teammates, and they know they'll get a very firm, stern talking to from their team principal. So yeah. Here we go, both Alpines now coming next to each other. Hopefully not coming together, though. You can see now, side by side, Fridge goes down the inside of Dom, and it's not as clear-cut as you would think with Dom getting DRS. However, it's worked out for Fridge. P5 is his for the taking. 9 points to his name for now, as Tom was desperately trying to get past Jamie. I'm not entirely sure if they're equal on penalties. If so, this is a lot of stakes. Oh, yeah, Jamie has more penalties than Tom, so he has to stay within 2 seconds of the Mercedes, and Mercedes has to break the Aston by 2 seconds. You can see there the Aston was getting incredible speeds, but obviously you can see it didn't really work out, and now he has to wait. So rear wing wide open for the Aston Martin. The ramp go to the sky. Jamie takes a very neutral-ish line initially on the outside, and that is Exotic's position. And you can see there the Mercedes definitely wants to fight back for it. Doesn't seem like he'll be able to now in the closing stages of this race. You can see Welsh Jack still leads away iHops. Perhaps they've agreed to stop fighting each other by this point. Maybe. I haven't actually seen anything if they have. I mean, who knows? If they have, good for them, right? So yeah, Gabriel now on the inside. I mean, it's East Groove. They're going to fight for a little bit, but, it's not going to be too bad. You can see Gabriel getting through. So lovely stuff from his end. You can see Jamie and Fridge. Once again, Jamie, not Fridge, sorry. Jamie and Exotic. And you can see Jamie does get past the Aston Martin with DRS as well. Pretty early DRS, I imagine. And Hops is finally broke Welsh Jack, by the way. Welsh Jack is finally broke Hops. And Hops will not be getting sufficient DRS, so it's looking like Welsh Jack could take his second race victory in CRF and his first this season. So we have to wait and hold our breath for that one. As look at this, Tom and Exotic, same person. Jamie and Exotic still going not side by side, but still on each other's just rear end, very much tip touching partners here. And now on to the hangar straights. Rear wing open once again, and it looks like Exotic's going to get the pretty easy overtake down the inside, and that is Jamie done and dealt with for now. I imagine he's going to fight back, but look at that gap. It's just slowly extending itself, and maybe Fridge can insert himself as a bit of a thorn into the Mercedes side. We will see. Lap 24 out of 26. We just got to wait and see. For a little bit more action, you can see East Groove and Gabriel going at it. DRS open for the Williams there, and where's he going to pull? Down the outside. Very nice moves from him, and it looks like it's worked out perfectly for the Williams there. Gabriel getting a little squirrely once again, so it didn't really have any effect whether the Williams had a good exit or not. So let's keep going on board the Fridge. I'm dying. Why did he get me? No, it's a bit of an internet skill issue. The stream looks fine on my end. It looks a bit shit, but it's running fine on my end. We're fine. So yes, 19 people tuned in to see the final stages of this race. Welsh Jack and Hops fighting for the lead here, and it looks like Hops has inserted himself back into this little fight here. Rear wing wide open once again. 24 out of 26. This is one of his final times. He can do it. Down the inside goes Hops on Welsh Jack, and Jack almost gave him the position there. And look at this. Is the audio fixing itself? It kind of is. That's so silly. I guess it's when it's next to people, because with these two, the audio's fixed itself a little bit. It's still really bad, but it's fixed itself. So, yeah. You can see Hops leads the race on the penultimate lap. Could Jack be doing this to surefire get the race win? This is what I was talking about earlier. This is what I was talking about earlier. And as long as these two don't crash, of course, very good words to be shared between the two of them. Anyway, Fridge, Jamie, and Exotic still doing their own thing here. And, yeah, for some reason, I almost thought, in some weird way in my dumbass head, I thought I saw Exotic spinning around, and I'm like, oh, but it didn't happen. Which it would have been funny because he would have spun out of Abbey, which is a hilarious place to spin out of, which is wonderful. Anyway, subtitle into P14, not really doing anything. Don't think he's going to do much here, so let's get back on the board with the lead Ferraris here. Welsh Jack at the back of IHOPS here. I wonder, is he going to hold off? Because lap 26 DRS is wild. I imagine we're going to see some good DRS chicken from these guys. They've led the entire race so far, and exception for, 1 or 2 laps. So yes, Hops goes defensive, and Jack okay. Don't do it that much, Hops. That's weaving on a straight. So yeah, 21 people tuned in for this. So let's see the final lap of the British Grand Prix under very fitting, cloud cover. God, I wish it was cloud cover over here. It is very hot right now. It's like, what, 100? It might be 100. I don't know. Somebody just Google it, maybe. I don't know. So yes, Welsh Jack and IHOPS very, very close to each other. This is the lead battle we all want to see. Jamie, of course, is getting close to Tom, or Exotic, sorry. Jamie, of course, is getting close to Exotic. They're on equal parts, they're equal terms, rather, if the penalty for speeding can get removed. So yes, Exotic so far leads that little fight. Inertia, once again, with a 3-second time penalty, and that is 9 seconds to be tacked on. So let's see. Hops keeps his lead for now. Lap 26 out of 26. The final time they're going to be going through Luffield for Season 1, of course. And I hope not. I hope this isn't the final time they'll be going through his teammates, obviously. But we'll see. Hops and Jack getting very, very close now. I think I was very much right on Jack's end, and they were playing some very big DRS chicken. So Let's see. The sun is coming out now. Let's see what's gonna happen. Going through Maggots and Beckett's here. Lovely stuff. Jack isn't making any severe ground. So with DRS open for the second Ferrari in P2, what's he gonna do? Hobbs goes defensive. He swings to the outside, then the inside. Jack is gonna try his luck around the outside. It doesn't seem to. A switchback. Hobbs goes a little bit wide. This is the lead of the race, going to Welsh Jack, and very much deservedly so. Welsh Jack comes to the final corner now to win the British Grand Prix. Hobbs coming in a very, very commendable second. Jamie getting a P3 from Exotic there. I don't know how, but... Oh, wait, no, they're still fighting. So Jamie, they're still fighting. I thought the race was over. And it looks like Jamie on track does go through on Exotic, and he does take the win of this little battle. You can see Dom and Exotic coming together, which is quite funny and silly and goofy, and dear, this isn't very going well. So I think that's a very funny end to this week's race, and I'm very glad to have commentated it. So that is the end of the British Grand Prix. We can see a very late fatality. Orlando, P18, he'll finish P18, obviously, because KF1 was not, here. So, lovely stuff. Unfortunately for Alfa Romeo, and especially for Red Bull, Flo ran at the back almost the entire race, and he was not able to recoup from that initial start. But Aston Martin and Ferrari are having a pretty good day under themselves. So let's see. Will these results stand? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I'm very excited to get on with next week, obviously with custom sponsor boards, because, they cucked me this time. So, I mean, I'm really hoping you guys join me next week for some really good racing. So yeah, obviously Trickshan's driver of the day, but I mean, I kind of have to ponder on that one. Does bias really inform this one? These guys were just able to keep with each other and absolutely clear the field, so I might vote one of the Ferraris, but we'll see. We'll see. Very lovely points, obviously. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching CRF1. My name is YT Teppen as per usual. And finally, I should be back every week for this foreseeable future. Unless, I issue a long apology video for saying the N-word. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a lovely race today. Obviously, thank you for the drivers for coming and providing this lovely entertainment, a full grid. You'll love to see it. And thank you for EA for making a shit game that I had to reinstall at the very last minute. So tune in next week, obviously, for not Las Vegas, Imola. Tune in next week for Italy. Fucking Italy. Monza. We're going to Monza, baby. Conta's home race and Ferrari's home race. You love to see it, and let's just do the thing, right? Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, obviously, I love you. I love you all so much, and you guys make this possible, and I love the fact that you guys tune in every week. It just means a lot to me that I get to do this week in, week out. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what else I can say without getting, really stupid and prolonging this. So, like I said,